So today I'm in Nottingham and we're going to be looking for a section of the Great Northern Railway, opened in 1877 and lasted until 1968. Next to me I've got the tram line between Hucknall and Nottingham. It also serves as the railway line between Worksop, Mansfield and Nottingham. And that tram you've just seen past me is heading up to what was Basford Junction, where the Midland Railway skirted off and served numerous collieries such as Cinder Hill. But we're looking for the Great Northern Railway. It's a little bit further up and it's going to take us off towards Kimberley. And also, for those of you who don't know, it's also the track bed that crossed over Bentley Viaduct. A lot of you have probably walked over that by now and headed off to Derby. I'm going to look for this track bed and I'll see you there. The Great Northern Railway's Derbyshire and Staffordshire extension was popularly known as the Derby Friargate line, and this opened on the 1st of April in 1878. The line was closed to passengers by 1964, but it continued to be used by freight trains up until 1967. The section of this route I'm hoping to follow today is from the outskirts of Nottingham, right where it crossed the Midland Railway, which today is used between Worksop, Mansfield and Nottingham as the Robin Hood line, and heading off towards Kimberley through places such as Nuthall and Watnall, before the line proceeded on to where the famous Bentley Viaduct is. But we're not going that far today. That is in another video which I shall put at the end. So zooming in, you can see that is Bulwell just up there, and the Great Northern Line came from the right hand side heading off towards Nottingham. The yellow line going from top to bottom is heading off towards Mansfield and also Nottingham, and the blue one is the Great Central Main Line. The red one going from left to right is what we are following, and we're heading towards Nuthall, Watnall and finally Kimberley. The yellow line almost mirrors the route of the Great Northern Railway is the Bentley and Bulwell Railway, also featured in the video that I've just done recently. Coming from Nottingham in the distance and approaching where the Midland Railway went off towards Cinder Hill Colliery. We'll talk about that in a little while. Now this is where the Cinder Hill line heads off. It is now the tramway heading off towards Phoenix Park. So that is David's Lane tram stop down there, and the tram is about to go over the River Lee. Now on the right hand side you can see all those trees, and that is our Great Northern Railway that we're going to be following today. So safely crossing the tram line. Hard to think that that used to be a railway. Our track bed that we want is just down there. You might be able to make out a bit of blue. There's a bridge crossing the River Lee. Our embankment should be up there somewhere, which formed the part of this track bed heading off towards Kimberley. So right here there used to be a viaduct, and crossing the River Lee, the track bed picked up just over there. The viaduct needed to cross the Midland Railway towards Worksop over there, towards Nottingham. River Lee, we've just crossed over that, and we need to head on that direction, also towards Cinder Hill Junction. This is where the viaduct, the first part of the viaduct, used to cross the Midland Railway. Heading off towards Nottingham on the right, it had come across this embankment lined with trees, and the second half of the viaduct, all those brick arches known as Basford Viaduct, came across and spanned embankments just here. Now here's a delightful view looking from the Midland Railway, and we've got the first part of the viaduct above us. Look, so that's looking towards Mansfield, and here's a closer image looking at the same viaduct. The signal box is just to the right hand side and are working coming from Bentley and Kimberley direction and heading off towards Nottingham. This one also taken from the signal box. You can see all those arches in the background and a train going across it, and the line branching off to the left is the one that heads off towards Cinder Hill Colliery, which is now the tram line going towards Phoenix Park. And here's a beautiful image here showing the arches of the main body of the viaduct. We're about to go and find the embankment which continued on after this structure. So losing the track bed momentarily, that was pretty much where these trees are, but if I poke you through here, you can see it does go uphill. Halfway up the embankment now, look, you can see there's all big chunks of stone down there. This is where the viaduct would have been. Right, we're at the very top. It's a lot higher up than I expected. I didn't even expect to get up here. So Nottingham in that direction, that way is the way we're going. Here's another fine image showing the brick arch viaduct spanning over the River Lee and the two embankments either side. Now if we look at this map from around 1900, It's marvellous, look, it shows us all the different railway lines. So we've got the Cinder Hill branch down at the bottom, that's heading off towards the colliery. We saw it in a picture branching off to the left with the signal box on the right earlier on. You've got the main body of the Midland Railway still active today, going from top centre down to bottom right, and that is where the signal box is, just there. And going from left to right, we've got our Great Northern Railway that we're trying to follow today, and you can see both sections circled of the viaducts crossing over the railway and the other one crossing over the small valley and the River Leen. And also on the left hand side we've got Babington Junction. We'll be heading off that way very, very shortly. Now on closer inspection, I'm not actually sure these were sleepers. They seem like really long sections of timbers. Look, all the way over here and to the other side. So there's another support wall section there, look. That wouldn't have supported the viaduct, would it? I'm wondering if this was a signal box just here. Might need to look at maps, because we've got the junction just up there. There was the junction that split the line into just a few hundred yards up there. Could have been something to do with that. I'm going to check on maps and have a look. So that's what it looks like from down at the bottom, look. Blue brick sloped concrete support, and there's the other side of those wooden beams, look, that I originally thought were sleepers dumped on the side. Got concrete sections supporting them there and there and there. And just look how high this embankment is. It's extraordinary. Some remains of cables there, look, cable holders. Tension bars, aren't they? Okay, let's leave where the viaduct was behind that, and we'll push on this way if I can. Maybe I'll go a little bit up. I wasn't expecting to get up here. Babington Junction was up here where the line split into two. Right, I think that's about as far as we're going to get. So some remains of ballast on the floor. Look how high up we are. So yeah, I'm going to get back down to ground level and pick up the route further down beyond where the junction was, like I'd originally planned before. I got distracted up here. I'm stuck down here and I think I can see something up there. I'm going to see if I can. It's quite steep and loose underfoot, but you know me, I'll always try. Could be fun coming back down. Don't ask me how I did that without falling. Look, apologies for the wind. It's just here, that's what I was looking at. So that's where we were earlier, down there. It looks like, I think it's wildlife that treads it down. Something from here I can see. Bits of concrete there, look. Stone. And more pieces just there. Can I sneak my way through a little bit? And you can see it closer. Yeah, evidence of a structural wall there as well, look. So I'm hoping not to have to go back down there. I'm going to follow this a little bit and see where it comes out. We might find something else as well. So it's all opened out. This is pretty cool, isn't it? And then it looks like the embankment's going to disappear. Now in 1846 over there was Babington Colliery, otherwise known as Cinder Hill Colliery. Cinder Hill Road is down there. That colliery lasted until 1986. That's an extraordinary amount of time, isn't it? 140, 150 years. There used to be a spur off this line that joined on to the Midland Railway, which is now the tram line to Phoenix Park, connecting both lines together and allowing this line to serve the colliery. Just over there you might be able to see a lot of trees, and that is probably from the spall heaps of the colliery. So embankment completely going. I'm following this down. I'm hoping it's gonna not appear in someone's back garden. So that's Cinder Hill Road, and the track bed was pretty much on Garton Close that I have just come down. We've got to go over to Park Chase there to pick up the track bed right where that building is directly opposite. Right, back on the track bed again. Sweeping through here, it's going to take us to what is known as Phoenix Park Hills. There was a clay pit here. We've got the colliery off to the left. It should open up very shortly. Just need to avoid this muddy section. And oh yeah, there we go. Can't be bothered to pick the poo up. And another bag there. Yeah, I do moan about that sort of stuff. And this was it here, just through here. And it has indeed all opened out. I'm not sure if I'm actually stood on the track bed now, if it's to the left, to the right. So this is pretty much the top of the hill, the old spall heap from Babington Colliery. Trying to guard you from the wind a little bit. I imagine the views are quite spectacular, looking over to sunny Bulwell on a nicer day. we've got to push on that way, and hopefully I can get the drone up soon. Right, leaving that behind now, the hill, the Phoenix Hill, and where the colliery was, and we've got to pick up the trackbed, which was somewhere over there. So I've got to get onto Hempshill Road, I believe it's called, just there, and then cross the following road, and then pick up the trackbed again. So off Hempshill Lane, we're crossing Lowood Road, and we're going to pick up the trackbed just around this corner. So safely across just there if you want to cross with the traffic lights, and around here we go. So this is an up-to-date image from Google. That is Lowood Road just there, and we've just come through that housing estate, the former colliery land, and the greenery we've just walked through is on the right hand side, and you can see that sharp line going up to the top left from the main road that we've just crossed over. Now, extraordinarily, keep an eye on all of that, and we're going to jump to the old map from the early 1900s, and boom, absolutely nothing look but the railway line and fields going from right to left, away from the colliery and up towards, which is Nuthall Sidings. We're going to head up towards where Nuthall Sidings was. I believe it is going to open up pretty wide, but very little remains of this area before we get to the M1 motorway. There's a fine image, which I believe that is Lowood Road going over the top, and the little branch of track work going off to the left went into some brickworks. And there's another image looking a bit further down in the opposite direction. That is where all the housing estates are today, under the bridge, and you'd head off towards Nuthall Sidings. And just look how far this trackbed goes forward now. It's really catching the wind here, so I'm going to try and disguise it as much as possible, or it may end up being a voiceover. So that's the trackbed looking backwards. It sort of does that, but it'll take us back to Lowood Road where we've just crossed. Bentley and Bulwell Railway was over there. Runs pretty much parallel to this line all the way to where Bentley Viaduct crosses over the Erewash Valley line. I'm going to try and do that in a video after this and walk back to where I started. There's not much of it left, but we'll give it a go, including remains of the old Watnall tunnel. That'll be nice. The M1's down here. I think we could go underneath it. So looking back, you can see the expanse of what was Nuthall Sidings. There's a bit of an embankment, probably 50 feet over there, which probably denotes the edge of the sidings. Very, very close to the M1 now. I've got a feeling it's going to be the original bridge, because I think this line was still running when the M1 was being constructed. Quite ironic, isn't it? That opens around about the time this closes. Now that's a curious bit of stone, isn't it? So that is going to be used for horse riders to dismount, isn't it? And to get on their horses. But that's taken from the top of a bridge somewhere, isn't it? I wonder where. I wonder where. Coming up from the sidings was the Midland Railway's little branch that went off to join onto the Bentley and Bulwell line. We're going to look at that in a different video. It may have already been on, or it may come after this one. So that's pretty interesting. There's just railways everywhere, isn't there? Absolutely everywhere. So we've got this now. It's got into a cutting before it gets to the M1. It's really coming down with drizzle now, so I think I'm going to have a bit of coffee out the flask and sit underneath there. That's a curious little thing up there, isn't it? Wonder what that was. It's got an old railway sleeper on it too, look. It also almost slopes down like it was a old air raid shelter or something. Yeah, it could have been. That could have been the doorway in. That seems like different brick just there. It's private farmland, so I'm not going to go any further up, but this is as close as I'm going to get. What do you think? Right next to the M1. Look at this, how it's been cut out, chipped away. That's good, isn't it? The M1 directly above. Got a nice little drain going down there. It's still flowing. It must have been a brook before the railway was even built. We've got a nice cutting just there, look, even higher than on the other side, and just there, look. So we'll get a bit close to that. I think the M1 above us is 4 lanes wide here with no hard shoulder. Bit of useless information for you. I suppose most of you already know. So there we go. All those carved sections just there. Typical 1960s build bridge there, and what appears to be an access point, probably for the culvert that goes underneath and flows down there. I imagine it's going to come out on the other side of the track bed, because that must have shot across like this. Ironic, isn't it? I bet that bridge only got about 2 years use as a railway. Peering over there, yeah, so that's where the little stream comes out. Up here there was Watnall Tunnel, very, very short. I think I might have a picture or two to show you. Now, so as I mentioned on the maps back there, one was at Nuthall sidings. The Midland Railway did have a spur joining them. That went off up there, and it would have joined on to the Bentley and Bulwell line. Probably did have something to do with that little thing that I thought might have been an air raid shelter. Probably connected to that. We need to cross a road up here and carry on before we'd have got to what was known as Watnall sidings. So we've had Nuthall sidings, got Watnall sidings next, and shortly after that there was a very short Watnall tunnel, otherwise known as Kimberley Tunnel. We're coming up and away from the track bed. That was down there. It's all been filled in. I think the little stream still culverts through what was a bridge. The railway passed under New Farm Lane, which is just up here. We've got some bridge abutments coming up, look. This is exciting, isn't it? Look at that. Yes, we've got a bridge. So, New Farm Lane, a little bit windy, but there it is, look how narrow that is. I'm expecting there was probably another one on the other side. I'm trying to save you from the wind. Yeah, there we go, look. Blue brick through there, and just there, look. So the bridge is infilled down there. On the other side we've got exactly the same, look. Blue brick, not going to be the original centre wall or fencing, and the other abutment just there, and we can peer over and it is all filled in, look. And that is what it looks like on the other side. So on we go towards where Watnall sidings were. So this kind of gives you a rough idea of how wide Watnall sidings was. See that red brick wall there, just down there? That is the edge of these sidings, or little yard. And then it pretty much went to just about here. Not really any evidence of anything currently. There might be a sleeper through there. That's what's kind of caught my eye. Yeah, there we go, look. An old sleeper just there. Just pops out between the trees. Okay, so right here we've got Watnall Tunnel. There was two tunnels called Watnall Tunnel, very confusing. Watnall was also known as Kimberley Tunnel on this line. Then we've got Watnall Tunnel, which is on the Bentley and Bulwell, pretty much the other side of the Hovis yard that you may have just seen in the drone footage. So 268 yards in length. There's a slight curve to the southern portal. It wasn't a completely straight tunnel, and it pretty much did run parallel, going under the same road with the other tunnel. Here we are back to rail map online. The red line again is the Great Northern Line that we're following today. We've just come from the right hand side, so you got the M1 motorway just prior to this, and Nuthall sidings we just came through there. Now note there is a yellow line next to the red one, and that is where the Midland Railway joined onto the Great Northern Railway of Nuthall sidings, and it went on a bit of an uphill trajectory and turned into that triangular junction at the top. Now this is where the Hovis bakery is now, and the distribution centre. That is where all that triangular of yellow junction is situated on now, and it crossed over the top of the Great Northern Line over Watnall Tunnel, and the other tunnel was just up here on the Bentley and Bulwell line. And this is what it looks like today on Google Maps. You've got the Hovis bakery and distribution centre dominating the area in the centre. The Bentley and Bulwell line is scarring the top where the first Watnall tunnel is, and the second Watnall tunnel is just below. That's the longer one, completely buried and landscape. We'll go into the older map from the early 1900s and it all becomes clear. Look, we've got the line leading off to Watnall sidings. You can see that shaded area, which is the longer of the two Watnall tunnels on the Great Northern Line. Let's move up a touch and you can see the other Watnall tunnel just there. Look, that's the shorter one. Both portals still exist on this. I'll put a link at the end of this video and we'll have a little bit of a look at the eastern portal of the Bentley and Bulwell line. Now just up here you've got Watnall Colliery, the other side of those houses, and where the Midland Railway came up from Watnall sidings, it looped around and actually came across the tunnel in like a crisscross. You've got the line towards Derby going there, what we're following, and the other one went across like that. Lasted maybe a few hundred yards up there for the colliery. We got across here now, this road down here, busy road. I'll see you on the other side. I believe we can carry on with the track bed. So that is the B600 main road. I'm going to slowly turn you around, and we are picking up pretty much where the track bed was. So next stop would have been Kimberley, first station on the route while we've been walking it. Still got some of that left. Station building's still there. So if you ever wanted a bit of a giveaway as to what used to be here, it's that. Look at that, part of a former bridge. That is Newdigate Street across there. The track bed went straight across, and we get to follow it towards Kimberley Station. Safely crossing over. It is a bit of a bend, but look at this wall just here. You don't need any more of an indication that there was once a railway here, do you? It's quite wide as well. It's all the way across there. That's the opposite part of that bridge. Track bed shooting down here. We're very, very, very close to Kimberley East Station now. So where we left Watnall Tunnel behind, the track bed was then filled in. Newdigate Street, it used to pass underneath. We've just been stood there. This gives you an idea of how much this has been filled in. Extraordinary, isn't it? Look at this cutting. It's huge. So this is all infilled, and it's hard to think that buried down there somewhere is the portal to that Watnall Tunnel that we never got to see, but we kind of got to walk across it. We're going to push on down this way now towards where Kimberley East Station is. The building is still there. I'll let you have a little look at it, but it is a private residential property now, so we'll not be padding around on it too much. Nice, beautiful little nature reserve now, look, isn't it? Let's head on down this deep cutting. And this was the view looking back where we were stood. We're stood somewhere down there on the left hand side. Look how deep that cutting was. There's Newdigate Street Bridge that we walked past just a few minutes ago, where the abutments are still present. And just beyond that would have been Watnall Tunnel. What a rare and fantastically insightful photograph. This is quite cute, isn't it? You may have seen this in a previous video which I did a couple of years ago. I'll put a link onto that at the end. These like makeshift buffers are just a bit of a timely reminder. And you've got the little brook coming down here. It is quite peaceful down here. It's really, really nice. So just up here, that was Kimberley East Station. 2 platforms opening in August 1876. Lasted until November 1964. And as I said previously, the station building does exist today. Track bed almost resembling a abandoned canal at the moment, doesn't it? Got the bridge going over. I'm sure I've got a picture of that somewhere, an old black and white picture, and the water is just dropping down there and it's culverted underground. Station building is on the left. There it is, look. I'll show you a little bit of that after I've shown you a few pictures of what it was made for and how it used to be. So the building on the opposite platform would have been here. This is now known as the sidings. And there's your station building. Quick look, not going to be for too long because of privacy. That is Station Road, and Main Street is the other side. And there was a bridge across there which carried on this journey. This is beautiful, isn't it? It really is. And that is what it looks like from above. I'm on that footbridge going over where the trackbed once was, heading off towards Benley in that direction down there. And there's your station buildings and where the platforms and the trackbed once was. So I do hope you've enjoyed this video, this railway walk from the outskirts of Nottingham at Basford and Bulwell off towards Kimberley East Station right behind me. I'm now going to jump onto the Benley and Bulwell railway, closed a lot sooner than this one did after it was open, and follow it back towards pretty much where we passed under the M1. I'll see you in that next one. Take care, bye bye. As always, all the social medias are popping up on the bottom of the screen. I'd love you to follow me on any of them or all of them for all the latest updates, where I am, what I'm up to and where I'm going to be going. Thank you very much. I'll see you there.